coming in. Yeah, flex, I just wanna win. Yeah, LABB, who we running with. Yeah, 2233, I'm on 10 again. Yeah, state your name. Been dope on flame, I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again, I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away.
But I want you to know, CQ right now, this doesn't happen very often over downtown Seattle. That special message for all of our out-of-town visitors right now. If we take a look at the current conditions over downtown Seattle.
The Seattle Seahawks are bringing back those absolutely fire 1990 uniforms that, in my opinion, they are a million times better than their current action green or whatever the heck they call them. The Seahawks should just wear those throwbacks every game in home and away colors. Last season, Geno Smith absolutely exceeded my expectations, and it was pretty funny to see Russell Wilson struggle with Denver and Geno Smith just ball out with the Seahawks after so many seasons, being a backup. It was really awesome to see Geno Smith take full advantage of his opportunity. Geno Smith was one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch last year in the NFL because Geno Smith, he had the second most completions of 20 plus yards last season, only behind Josh Allen. In this video, I'll be going through all 17 regular season games for the Seattle Seahawks and be giving you guys my game-by-game analysis, a final score of each game, and a final regular season record prediction for the Seahawks in 2023. So if that's something that sounds interesting, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like this video. It really does help YouTube get this video out to more football fans, and please stay to the end of the video, otherwise your NFL team will miss the playoffs next season. Also, I highly encourage all of you guys to go subscribe to my good friend's YouTube channel, Jay's Trident Podcast. He's a really great guy, and I've been subscribed to his channel since he was just at 65 subscribers, and now he's closing in on 2,000 subscribers. Really proud of him and what he's doing with his channel. Me and Jay's Trident Podcast will be live streaming the first NFL preseason game of the year, August 3rd at 5 p.m. So mark your calendars and come hang out with some chill guys and talk some football. All right. Last season, the Seattle Seahawks finished the regular season with a record of 9-8, and they should have sent a gift basket to the Detroit Lions for defeating my team, the Green Bay Packers, at Lambeau Field Week 18, which knocked the Packers out of the playoffs and sent the Seattle Seahawks to Levi Stadium to face the San Francisco 49ers as the number 7 seed in the NFC playoffs. The Seahawks would go on to lose that game 41-23. They gave up a total of 505 total yards and 181 yards rushing. To be honest, I wasn't surprised that the Seahawks lost that game because the 49ers were on a roll. After losing to the Chiefs in Week 7, 44-23, the 49ers won their final 10 regular season games of the year. And if it wasn't for quarterback injuries, the 49ers could have easily been in the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks decided to not let Geno Smith hit free agency by signing Geno to a 3-year, $105 million contract. And that contract was well-deserved in my opinion. And definitely a smart move because the Seahawks didn't want to roll with quarterback Drew Lock as their starter. The Seahawks wasted no time in addressing their inconsistent defense via free agency. One of the first moves they made that I personally love to see was re-signing linebacker Bobby Wagner. Wagner just didn't look right to me in a Rams uniform after spending the first 10 seasons in Seattle. The Rams completely sucked balls last season, but Wagner played great. He had 81 solo tackles, 59 assists, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions in 17 games for the Rams. Other defensive players that the Seahawks signed are former Broncos defensive end Draymond Jones, former Giants safety Julian Love, former Packers defensive end Jarron Reed, who was with the Seahawks from 2016 to 2020, and former Steelers linebacker Devin Bush. Free agents lost for the Hawks are running back Rashad Penny to the Eagles, linebacker Cody Barton to the Commanders, running back Travis Homer to the Bears, defensive end LJ Collier to the Cardinals, center Kyrell Fuller to the Broncos, and safety Ryan Neal to the Bucks, and also wide receiver Marquise Goodwin to the Browns. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the Seahawks schedule. Week 1, the Seahawks host their division rival, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams were absolutely terrible last season with a record of 5-12, but mostly due to injuries to their star players Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Aaron Donald. The Rams will have all of these players available for Week 1. However, the Rams are still in a rebuilding process, and I do believe that it's going to take time for them to be competitive again. Last season, the Rams ranked dead last in the NFL in total yards with 4,769 yards and 27th in points scored with 307 or 18 points per game. I understand that for most of the season, the Rams didn't have their star players, but Stafford isn't just going to come back Week 1 and be rolling. With only 59 sacks on the season, the Rams are ranked number 30th in that category, so Geno Smith will have a lot of protection and he will throw for 3 touchdowns in this home opener. And the Seahawks win easily 27-17 to start the season 1-0. Week 2, the Seahawks go on the road to face the Detroit Lions. This Lions team, man, let me tell you, as a Green Bay Packers fan, this Lions team isn't your normal 5-12 and miss the playoffs Lions team. These guys can play some damn good football, and Dan Campbell has them going in the right direction. The Lions started off last season slow with a record of just 1-6 through the first 7 weeks before finishing the season with a 8-2 record the last 10 games. The Lions are looking for revenge in this game because last season in Week 4, the Lions lost a thrilling game to the Seahawks 48-45 in a game where the Seahawks didn't even need to use their punter once. The Lions tried everything they could to come back, scoring 22 points in the fourth quarter alone, but losing by a field goal. I believe that this game is going to be competitive like last year's game because both of these teams still do kind of suck on the defensive side of the ball. Geno Smith will throw a late fourth quarter interception and the Lions will get their revenge 28-21 and send the Seahawks to a record of 1-1. Week 3, the Seahawks play at home versus the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are looking to be competitive again this season after moving up in this year's NFL draft to select Bryce Young with the number 1 overall pick, and they had to send a lot of draft picks and DJ Moore to the Bears. I do believe that in time, Bryce Young will be a talented quarterback in the NFL, but it's going to take some seasons for him to develop, to the NFL game. This is a game where if the Seahawks are looking to win the NFC West, then they need to win these types of games. Last season, the Seahawks lost to the Panthers at home 30-24 in a game where the Seahawks allowed an embarrassing 223 yards rushing. Bryce Young will struggle in this game because he's still learning how to play in the NFL, and the Hawks won't allow over 200 yards rushing again versus the Panthers. I have the Seahawks winning this one 23-10 to improve to a record of 2-1. Week 4, the Seahawks go on the road to face the New York G-Men on Monday Night Football. Daniel Jones, honestly, that dude needs to take his agent on a vacation after signing that 4-year, $82 million contract. The Seahawks defeated the Giants last season in Week 8, 27-13. I don't feel the Giants have improved nearly as much as the Seahawks, and Daniel Jones' career record on Monday Night Football is 0-6. Look for Daniel Jones' struggles to continue on Monday Night Football. The Seahawks win 20-23 to improve to a record of 3-1. Week 5, the Seattle Seahawks have a bye week, which kind of sucks because it's early in the season. I always hate when my team has an early bye week. This is the second earliest that you can have a bye week in the NFL. Week 6, the Seattle Seahawks go on the road to face Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Last season, the Bengals offense was ranked number 8 in total yards with basically one less game played. The Bengals averaged 360.5 yards per game and 26.1 points per game. Cincinnati allowed fewer points than every NFC team last year except the Niners, and they have what it takes to get out to a lead and hold on to it. This could be one of the best games of the year for Seattle, but I just think that the Bengals offense just has too much firepower with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. The Bengals should be able to win this home game 24-10 to send the Seahawks to a record of 3-2. Week 7, the Seahawks play the Cardinals at home, and there could be a chance that the Cardinals have Kyler Murray in this game. The Seahawks swept the Cardinals last season 19-9 and 31-21. I didn't see the Cardinals improve this offseason, and they might be one of the worst teams in the NFL in 2023. The Cardinals' defense last season was ranked number 31 in points allowed at 26.4 points per game. The only other team that was worse was the Chicago Bears, who allowed 27.2 points per game. Geno Smith should have no problem carving up the Cards' non-existent defense. I have the Seahawks winning this one 24-7 to improve to a record of 4-2. Week 8, the Seahawks play at home versus the Cleveland Browns. The Browns went 7-10 last season, and quarterback Deshaun Watson played in the final 6 games of the season, going 3-3 in those games. Watson didn't play that well. He had career lows in completion percentage at 58.2 and in QBR with a rating of 38.3. I still think the Browns have a lot of things to work on, like finding an actual good quarterback and not one that touches, therapists inappropriately. Seahawks win 23-9 to improve to a record of 5-2. Week 9, the Seahawks go on the road to face Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Other than Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson is my favorite quarterback to watch play in the NFL. He just reminds me so much of Michael Vick with his dynamic running abilities, and with newly signed wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., the Ravens' offense should be revamped, and they should be rolling this season. The Seahawks last season were ranked number 29 in rushing yards allowed at 150.2. So in this game, I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to run all over the Hawks. I see the Ravens winning this one by a score of 31-24 to send Seahawks to a record of 5-3. Week 10, the Seahawks face the Washington Commanders at home. The Commanders last season were surprisingly good on defense, and they only gave up 20.2 points per game, and they were ranked number 3 in the NFL in total yards allowed. However, the Commanders offensively were completely garbage. They only managed to average 18.9 points per game. And Sam Howell, I do not trust. Seahawks win easily 37-23 to improve to a record of 6-3. Week 11, the Seahawks go on the road to face the trash Rams. Along with the Cardinals, I honestly believe the Rams could be one of the worst teams in the NFC this season. The Seahawks swept the Rams last season, and they will do the same thing this season. I see the Seahawks winning by a score of 19-9 to improve to a record of 7-3. Week 12, the Seattle Seahawks play at home versus the San Francisco 49ers, the team that knocked them out of the NFC wildcard playoffs last season. The San Francisco 49ers were on an absolute roll last season, heading into the wildcard playoffs. The Niners won 10 straight games, and they defeated the Seahawks fairly easily, 41-23. Brock Purdy was rolling in this game. He finished 18 of 30 for 332 yards, 11.1 average, 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and he also rushed for 1 touchdown. The Seahawks' biggest problem is their run defense, and they struggled in that game, giving up 181 total yards rushing. I believe that in this game, Christian McCaffrey will rush for over 100 yards. Whether it's Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, they will throw for 2 touchdowns, and the 49ers will win this game 27-24 to send the Seahawks to a record of 8-3. Week 13, the Seahawks go on the road to face Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. And this is going to be a very difficult game for the Seahawks because the Cowboys average 135.2 yards per game rushing, and they also averaged 27.5 points per game last season. I see the Cowboys rushing for close to 200 yards in this game and winning this game 24-10 to send the Seahawks to a record of 8-4. Week 14, the Seahawks go on the road to face the 49ers. Last season, the Seahawks lost to the 49ers 3 times. With their home loss to the Niners earlier this season, the Seahawks will be looking to avoid being swept 2 consecutive seasons. However, I just think that the 49ers overall are just a better football team, and they will continue to run over the Hawks. I see the 49ers winning this game by a score of 24-20 to send the Seahawks to a record of 8-5. Week 15, the Seahawks play at home versus Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Am I the only guy in the world that thinks Jalen Hurts is a little bit overrated? The guy has 1 good season, and then they give him a 5-year, $255 million contract, which is good for $51 million per year. The Eagles better hope that Hurts lives up to that massive contract. The Eagles were absolutely rolling last season, to say the least. The Eagles ranked in at number 2 in total yards with 6,614 yards, which is good for 389 yards per game. The Eagles average 147 yards rushing per game, And because of the Hawks' poor rush defense, this is going to be a game that is easy for the Eagles to win, 42-17, sending the Hawks to a record of 8-6. Week 16, the Seahawks go on the road to face the Tennessee Titans, and watching the Titans on offense last season made my damn eyes burn. The Titans last season were ranked number 30th in total yards with 5,045 yards. Even with the recent signing of DeAndre Hopkins, the Titans are going to struggle offensively because they have Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, and quarterback Will Levis at quarterback. I see the Seahawks winning this one 19-3 and improving to a record of 9-6. Week 17, the Seahawks play at home versus the Steelers. The Steelers last season were ranked number 23 overall offensively, but I do think that Kenny Pickett and George Pickens will both have great sophomore seasons, so the Steelers should be improved they should be improved on offense this season. I originally had the Seahawks winning this game, but for some odd reason, I just believe the Steelers are going to pull off a road upset because every year in the NFL, one NFL team has an upset, so I have the Steelers winning this one 21-14, which has the Hawks sitting at 9-7. In Week 18, the last game of the year, they play the Cardinals, and the Cardinals most likely will have a record of 3-13 before entering this Week 18 matchup. So that means that they will have, they will be in full tank mode, and Kyler Murray, he won't be playing in this game. So I just don't think that, Colt McCoy will be able to do, too much with the Cardinals. I see him throwing for 2 interceptions in this game, and the Hawks will sweep the Cardinals for 2 straight seasons. They'll win 14-9, which gives the Seattle Seahawks a final regular season record of 10-7. I hope you guys all enjoyed my Seattle Seahawks record prediction video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.